Okay, so each of you are representing essentially a user funnel. Tendi, I think, is now, he works in community, but he's also representing, I think, the guest user funnel. Vera's representing the employer user funnel, and Rafik will be representing the partnership user funnel. So this, we're going to have a discussion about advocacy and the purpose of advocacy in essentially the life cycle. The first thing I want to just illustrate to everyone is, let's see, let me go ahead and find a diagram for what I need to actually show. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. So please bear with me at the moment. I should be able to, okay, all right now. Okay, so the stage, where is it? Okay, here we go, right? So these are essentially the standard funnel processes of a user journey: awareness, consideration, conversion, loyalty, and advocacy. It happens at the very end of a successful user journey, and it's pretty vital. We haven't had advocacy discussions as of yet, mainly because I've been pretty busy. And now that I'm in quarantine, I'm not so busy anymore. So we can focus on really developing this particular idea. So one of the things that we don't have right now in advocacy is this, and I'll just be transparent. We don't have a framework yet for advocacy. Okay. So what is a framework? Let's go to Tendi. Tendi, can you tell me what is a framework and why is a framework important for our kind of work today?
Okay, thank you, sir. Yeah, I think the frame that what is the vision mission like in the advocacy, and then like also the what's called the mechanism, and then also like I think the SLA and KPI for that. I
Right.
think that's need to be make it clear that so we can see the performance of the advocacy.
Okay, very good. Tendi, you brought up some very good points, right? So in this, we don't know what's the mission, what's the vision, what are the KPIs, what are the goals, in fact, of advocacy. Okay, so let's actually populate this with what we do know, Tendi. Let's go to your particular funnel. In this case, Tendi, you're going to be speaking on behalf of, let's say, the guest funnel. Okay. In the guest funnel, Tendi, what do you think should be the KPIs of advocacy?
I think the first is number of conversion rate of the review, because that's the how the guests refer us to the
Mhm.
other
Yep.
guests.
Okay.
Then also number of guests that referring directly or bring another their friend or family to the place to the stay.
Mhm.
And then also number of guests sharing their experience in their social media like that
Okay.
when during the stay.
Of guests sharing experiences during their stay. Okay. Okay. All right. What about the number of, let's say, five-star reviews? Should that be a sign of advocacy?
Yep, that's number of the yeah rating
All right.
of
Number of, let's say, five-star reviews divided by total number of reviews. Okay. And this can be number of reviews uh, divided by number of checkouts, right?
okay.
All right.
Yeah,
Cool. All right.
check out.
Yep. That would give us essentially a proportion. So we have some guest funnel KPIs. Okay, great. Let's go to the partnership funnel, Tendi, which you also have some experience in. What would you say are the correct KPIs for partnership funnel?
I think yeah the number of partner referral
Okay, number of
or
partner referrals.
yeah like leads from referral can be also um, partnership. Number of I think GMB as well, right?
Hmm.
They wrote a review on the our business.
Okay, very good. Anything else?
Uh, referral advocacy. Hmm. I think just that
Okay,
from
all
me.
right, got it. What about your project, Tendi, when you went around and did your video interviews with partners? What about that? Should that be counted? Like the ones you did at
Oh
distance?
yeah, is it
So
like that's like the number of guest referral or not? Like
yeah, I
sharing
would
their
say number of partner stories shared, right? Even.
sorry sir. Yeah.
What would you call that, Tendi? Tendi. So Vera, just to let you know, Tendi worked on a project similar to what we have with the 73 questions that we did the other day for the HAR recruitment. So he went to different partners and he asked them a sequence of questions of why they became a partner, what they saw in Bukit Vista. What were the two properties? Or did you do more than two, Tendi? I remember there was two at least.
Yeah, more Armadillo, Despacito, what's called the Drua Villa
Okay.
with the training, and
Right.
then also the forgot the name, Indusa Prida,
Okay.
Kukuh Panida, and then also the box. Yeah.
Okay, very good, very good. Okay, that's good. Let's do a little bit of refinement here. Okay, so when we set KPIs, we should kind of keep some things in mind strategically. Let's say if we
Yeah.
set the number of partner referrals just by that, is that a good KPI, Vera, or does that need to be qualified against some other number?
Number of partner referrals. Uh, I think it's already correct. No.
Okay, let's say this then. Let's go to Vera. Remember when we used to say that in HR, right? We used to have a KPI of the awareness KPI for the awareness KPI is number of applicants. What was the problem with that?
What was the qualified applicants?
Yeah. If we just say it's just a number, the number is just the number of qualified applicants. That's it. What's the problem there?
Oh, we don't have the limit, right? We need to have like a percentage or something.
Yeah. Okay. So that's very good. It could be the number of partnership referrals versus the total size of the community,
Partner.
right? So then that tells you whether you're doing good or not. If you have a community of 10,000 and you get,
Yeah.
five referrals, maybe that's not so good, right? But if you have a community of 10 and you have five referrals, and that's very good, that's a 50% referral rate. So that's one way to look at the KPI. The other way to look at the KPI is also what is the rate of referrals, right? So it could be, are you getting one referral a week, two referrals a week? How many referrals a week are you producing? So that also gives you a more a continuous idea of the referral rate. So that is something strategic, and you should probably keep that in mind, unless you want to just have it be stuck, right? Because if you say, all right, my KPI is the number of partner referrals. I have five. Okay. Next week I have five. Next week, I have five. Did it move? No, it didn't. It stayed five for 3 weeks. Is that going to be a problem? Well, maybe, right? So that's why you should probably take a look and say, okay, what should it be? Should it be five a week now? Should it be three a week? What should it be so that you know if the progress has essentially slowed down? Okay, very good. Let's then go to employee funnel KPIs. Vera, what do you think the employee funnel KPI should be?
I think it's the number of referrals from employees.
Number of employee
Yeah.
referrals. Okay. Okay. Anything else?
Employee referrals. And I think because it relates a little bit to awareness, so I think like the engagement of posts, I guess.
Okay. Engagement of employees
Posts,
to our social media posts. Yeah. Okay.
social media posts. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
Oh, positive testimonials.
Yeah. Okay. Positive testimonials. Okay. Anything
Yeah, I
else?
think that's all.
Okay. But
No.
Vera, we have the same problem here. We don't have a rate, right? So the number of employee referrals could indicate you have 10. You had 10 since the beginning of September. You have 10 after October. So you probably would also need a rate, right? Maybe you have the number of employee referrals per month or the number of employee referrals per week or something like that. So that gives a rate. Or you would need number of employee referrals divided by the total employee population. Okay. So these are important things to consider, everybody, when we set up, let's say, the KPIs and the understanding of what our chapter is doing. First thing is we need to set the correct goals, but we also need to remember this. Remember, in a funnel process, let's go to the funnel again. Tendi, in a funnel, does the funnel ever stop moving?
The funnel?
Yeah. Does this funnel ever stop moving?
No.
Tendi, were you able to hear the question?
Sorry, I didn't hear you're in the middle, sir.
Okay. Does this
Is it
funnel,
the funnel?
Yeah, does this funnel ever stop moving?
Hello? I'm lagging or is everything
I
lagging?
think Tendi is lagging a little bit.
Not, sir. It's gone in the middle.
Okay. Tendi, can you hear me now?
Is the funnel? No. It's keep moving.
Yes. The funnel keeps
Yes, yes, I
moving.
can hear you.
The funnel keeps moving, and that's important to remember, Vera and Tendi. If the funnel keeps moving, your KPI also needs to keep moving. Okay? If you set a KPI that doesn't take into account
Yep.
movement over time, then your KPI will not be correct. If, let's say, for example, awareness, let's say, Vera, our awareness KPIs, are they just number of views? Are they the number of views per month?
Per month.
Right. Are applicants, are they just the total number of applicants, or are they the applicants per month?
Per month.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is what we need to go and refine then, everybody. We need to take a look at these KPIs, and we need to actually then divide them by time. Okay. So let's say this number of everything divided by 1 month, right? Number of this divided by 1 month, and number of partner stories shared per month. This allows you to then know what your progress is. Okay. Number of reviews, let's say you could go with that, right? Number of reviews per month, number of 5-star reviews per month, number of guest referrals per month. Okay. Now we have better and more refined KPIs that now tell us that this is a moving picture, not a static picture. Okay. So that's a very good first discovery here. So we set a foundational plate for that. Now let's keep on going. Advocacy. What do we need in order to create advocacy, Vera? What's okay in negotiations? We have a framework. Okay, let's break this up. Let's go with this question: how many stages are there in advocacy? In advocacy. Let's go to Vera. How many stages do you think that there are in advocacy?
Vera, ini lagging kita apa, Jin?
Ini kayaknya something lagging, right?
Maybe it's me. Okay, I'm gonna try to do this.
Lagging, sir. We cannot.
Oh yeah, I'm lagging.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm gonna move. Move. Jingen's gonna move. Okay. All right, I'm gonna move. Oh wait. Give me a second. I have a table outside in the hallway I can use. Okay. All right. How about that? Is that better? Do I have a better signal?
Better, sir.
Yeah, better signal.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go with this.
I can hear you now.
Okay, good. Let's go with this idea. How many stages are there in advocacy, Vera? Oops, sorry.
I'm not sure. Are there in the guidelines?
We are making the guidelines right now, Vera. But I'm bringing everybody through the thought process. Let's go to Tendi. Tendi, you have created advocacy before in the past, right? How many stages do you think there are in advocacy?
The stages, yeah.
Mhm.
But we need to find the metrics first.
We have the metrics. We have the
What
metrics.
metric that?
These are the metrics, right? We want referrals. So what do we need to do in order to get referrals?
What do we need to do? Uh, I mean the metrics for the stage, right? Like transformation, relationship, transaction, relationship, and legacy, like that.
No, 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 no.
The stage
That's
is different.
it doesn't matter actually in this particular case because
Mm,
referrals are still referrals, right? So we're
yeah.
every referral is if you get it in either transformation or legacy or calling, they're still referrals. But what
Uh,
are the stages
three,
that we need to? Yeah.
three stage.
Okay. What are the three stages?
Uh, uh, if I'm not wrong, the first to get the advocacy is the expectation. The second one is it like meet with their expectation? Then if that's meet, then they will share their if there is the meet expectation, meet desire. No?
No, 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 not quite, not quite. Okay, here I'll try to give you guys some more framework, right? I think the first
Yeah.
stage of advocacy is you need to identify the advocate. Okay, so
Mhm.
is everybody an advocate? And you can probably say no, right? Some people are more likely to be advocates, some people are less likely to be advocates. So it's a little bit like the same process for persuasion negotiation. You need to be able to identify who is your advocate, who actually has a positive experience with as an employee, who is having a positive experience as a guest, who is having a positive experience as a partner. Okay, so the first stage is to identify the advocate. The second stage is to essentially discover the advocate story, or to maybe it's not discover, maybe it's to journal or describe the advocate story. Once you have an advocate, you need to get their story, or actually, let's just say get the advocate story. What was their process? And this part is pretty simple. If you're looking for, let's say, advocate in employee funnel, then you look for, all right, who's an employee who has experienced positive transformation through hospitality innovations that inspire delight? What is their specific story that we want to share, right? And that's the second stage. So you need to get the essential of the story. The third stage is you need to distribute the story, and there's two ways to distribute it through your own channels and then through the advocates channels and then through maybe media channels. Okay? So those I think are the three stages of, let's say, advocacy. Let's say, for example, Tendi, right? Let's say you want to currently, how do you get referrals from partners?
From partner, usually um, we will I meet the partner. Then sometimes I ask like that. How is your feeling with our service so far,
Okay.
like that, and then in the beginning, like usually I tell what's called oh, maybe if you have friend, or would you like to refer us to join, maybe your friend or
Mhm.
family, and then they will remember. So if there is any new friends or family have property, then they will just contact me like that.
Ah,
Hi,
I see. Okay,
so I put the, yeah, like first in the first.
got it. Okay, so you identify the advocate, and then they distribute the story across their own channel. Is that correct, Tendi?
Yeah. So they tell the partner telling about our service and system everything. Then usually the referral is already know our service,
Excellent.
the leads, and then they don't have any lot of question. They just,
Okay.
oh, I know all about your service from your friend, like that,
Okay.
and then they join.
Okay. Let me ask you this, Tendi. Okay. Have you ever had a referral that misunderstood the Bukit Vista services?
Not yet so far.
Oh, okay. So mostly it's pretty accurate, right?
Yeah. So and then mostly they are still stay with us now from the referral,
Okay,
not
very good.
sadly.
Very good, very good. Okay, but you don't know what their story was, right?
What the partner telling, or what the partner tell to the
Yes.
referral,
Yeah.
right?
Do you know what
Uh,
they told?
yeah, I ask usually, like for example, like, hey, I have friend that will contact you because I recommend you like that, and then I ask that, hey, what you tell to your friend like that?
Okay.
Yeah, I tell the service, what the service that you tell, like
Okay.
this, is, oh, oh yes, that's right, right.
Okay, very good, Tendi. Okay, so here's the thing then, Tendi. So you've identified the advocate, you know what story they're telling, and you've relied on the advocate to distribute through their own channels. Have you ever thought
Yeah.
about sharing that story through another channel, through, let's say, a Facebook group?
Not yet.
Okay. Have you ever thought about sharing that channel through a media channel, like letting that partner tell their story to a reporter and having that story be told to, let's say, Compass or some major media
Oh,
channel before?
outside channel, yeah, not yet.
Ah, okay. All right. So that's, I think, the optimization now of the stages in advocacy. Just like the same thing that we did for persuasion negotiation, Tendi, there's 5 stages. I think
Hmm.
advocacy is 3 stages. If you do all 3 stages, then you get the maximum effect. Okay. And the reason is because,
Yeah.
let's say you have a really good story from that partner referral, but you did not distribute that through your own channels. Maybe you could distribute that story on LinkedIn, and that would be inspirational to somebody. Maybe you could distribute that story through your own blog or whatever. Maybe there's a reporter who is looking for stories about Bali property owners, and that is a story that you can distribute to them too as well, and that would give you more advocacy. So all 3 different ways are ways of getting advocacy. Let's clarify this part really quickly. Vera, what do you think is the biggest difference between advocacy and marketing? What is the difference between, like, let's say, what we do for marketing and what we do for advocacy?
Mm. Before marketing, I think it's like we're raising awareness of our services, right?
Yep.
But then if advocacy, it's like the after effect after they use the services and then they feel like, oh, it's worth it. And other people
Right.
should know. Yeah.
Right. So does that connect with anything that we just talked about earlier the last hour, Vera?
It does,
Do
right?
you remember what we talked about just an hour ago, or not even an hour ago, maybe about 20 minutes ago?
Uh, in the persuasion chapter?
Yes, yes, yes,
Oh
yes.
yeah, yeah, it does. It does.
What does it remind you of?
I mean, wait, what does it remind me of? I mean, if we offer someone, right, it makes them like think, oh, okay, the experience is worth it, and I think I could like share it to other people.
What persuasion tactic did I conclude with? Do you remember that in the last chapter's discussion?
Is it is it the third party story?
Story, exactly. The third party story is advocacy, right? In the way a third party story is advocacy, but told through your own voice. It is essentially you are not, let's say this, Vera, right? I can say, Vera, you should buy this product. This product here that I'm selling to you is awesome. It is so amazing. Or how about this, Vera? I could come to you and say, hey, Vera, last week somebody just like you, right? Just like with the same haircut, same age, walked into my shop and she bought 20 of these dresses that I'm selling in this store. She loved them because of this reason, of this reason, of this reason. Would you like to be the next person who buys 20 dresses? Right? It's very different. It's giving, let's say, a particular case versus giving a feature benefit sell. So advocacy, you always need a story. If you don't have a story, you don't have advocacy. The second thing about advocacy is good advocacy should be shared, ideally not on your own channel, right? Ideally, that should be, let's say, the lowest priority for your advocacy. If you share your advocacy on your own channel, it's not bad. it could be okay. Let's say, for example, an employee says it's great to work at Bukit Vista. You can put that on the Bukit Vista YouTube. You can put that on, let's say, the Bukit Vista website. You can put it on Bukit Vista LinkedIn. But what would be better is if that person shared it on their own LinkedIn, on their own website, on their own blog, and then you reshared it from your own channels, right? So this is important to understand about how to get and optimize advocacy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're making good progress right now. So we've identified what our KPI should be. We've identified our stages in advocacy. So now I guess we can start going into the normal chapter work, okay? Which is what are some cases of where we have gotten good advocacy and how can we learn from those cases? And where are some cases where we had not so good advocacy and what can we learn from those cases? Let's go to Tendi. Tendi, can you tell me a case where you recently have, let's say, done advocacy and how successful did you feel about it, and what are some things that we can learn from it?
Okay, in advocacy in guest or partner, sir?
Either one, either one. You can tell me a story
Okay.
about advocacy either in the guest or the partner funnel.
Yep. I guess on guest, yeah, on guest side, for the advocacy, I think what is good is the guest is sharing their moment, like the previous one, the celebration, birthday, and everything, and then uh, it might be also potential their friend asking to us like that where to stay or something to the guest.
Ah, okay.
um, yeah, like that. Hey, for example, like the guest is making story like that, and then hey, I got this birthday cake celebration from Bukit Vista and like that,
Hmm.
and then also they can raise the awareness.
Okay.
But the what's called what I saw the lack is about the hmm, okay, see, I think the conversion rate. Yeah, the conversion
Ah,
rate is still low to make their what's called leave the review to us. But mostly the guests that really satisfy, even though that we are not uh, asked to review, they leave us the review
okay.
firstly like that.
Okay.
And then
That's
also
interesting.
one more, yeah, one more. I think the biggest challenge is sometimes when we are doing the hosting, the guest does cannot contactable like that, that doesn't reply our WhatsApp, and then in the beginning and the review they leave the bad review like that. I think that's I think it's not good. Even though we are what's it called every day sending the morning message, the check, hi, how is doing, what is we can improve for your stay, for the life, for everything, they're not replying like that. And then also they're not telling the staff as well if they have, for example, like uh, bed bugs on their on the room or something, and then in the end they leave the bad review and then ask the refund like that. So yeah, I think that's actually the biggest challenge
Okay,
to deal with that.
that's an interesting challenge. Let's take it one at a time then, right? So this particular case is okay. That's actually pretty interesting. Let's actually set the expectations for how we actually form advocacy. Um, let's go with Tendi. Tendi, do we control how many guests will give us reviews?
How many guests? No, but we can yeah, send them the reminder like that.
Right. Okay.
But the decision is the best.
Yes. Okay. So what you have to first know is this, Tendi. Um, you're only control. We have to figure out what our controls are, right? So
Yep.
some guests leave reviews without being asked. That is something that we do not control. Okay, they leave the review without being asked. So that's their business, right? But what we can control is we can send reminders and we can use persuasion and negotiation techniques to achieve more reviews, right? So
Yeah.
that is why we learned those particular ideas. But the thing that I think also realize here is this, Tendi. So in the case of let's take this positive case here where a guest is sharing their birthday celebration. Would you be able to tell me how you can get this to happen more regularly? How would you be able to encourage this to happen on a regular basis?
Yeah, I think the first we need to usually we identify the persona of the guest first,
Mhm.
like from their ID or passport, like that, and then also usually they also share when they make the inquiry like, hi, I come for honeymoon for birthday, like that. And then sometimes they didn't ask, please prepare, but we want to give the surprise like that.
Okay,
So yeah, it's most better.
very good. Okay, so we have found that by being available and relevant in the right time, we have an opportunity to earn some guest relevancy, right? To earn some guest advocacy when we can identify when a birthday is happening and then how to encourage that. Vera, how would you perhaps use a third party story to motivate a guest to maybe share on social media in a subtle way?
This is to guests, so
Yeah,
you
let's
mean?
say it's for guests, right?
Okay, wait. So you want me to like share a third party story to a new potential guest, is
Yeah,
it?
that we let's say for example we
Oh.
want to do a birthday celebration for a guest and we want to use a third party story to persuade them to share their moment on social media.
Um. Okay, so I think I could say like wait, I wouldn't actually I mean like if I personally, sir, I wouldn't persuade people to like you can share this on social media, no, but I will try my best to like give them the best experience to the point that they think, oh my god, this should be shared in social media.
Okay, that's very good. So that's a way of actually improving the reality, but you still
Yeah.
don't have control in that particular
Ah
case,
ah
right?
ah.
Right? So um, it's good that you're doing that, but without taking direct control, you might do that a hundred times, and maybe 50 people would have shared, but they were just busy, or they forgot about it, or they did something else, right? So here's an approach, right? So you need to be able to use both at the same time. Don't just use one, use like a coordination. Do the amazing experience that people want to share about. That sets the advocacy potential to the highest potential that you can possibly have. But I think at the same time, you could suggest something like this. You could suggest, hey, after they have their experience, you can ask, how was it? Was that something that you really enjoyed? And they go, great, it was amazing. And you can go, okay, do you think anybody might be thrilled to experience that particular experience with you, right? And they go, oh yeah, my cousins or whoever. Okay, yeah, that's great because last week we had a guest. They also had some cousins, and their cousins loved the fact that they were having their birthday in Bali, and maybe, and they shared it on Instagram. So you're using a third party story to suggest it without being too overt, and then you just leave it at that, and you don't pursue any further, right? The reason you don't, because this is not, you don't want to turn advocacy too much into a business transaction. You're trying to persuade, but it's more gentle, I think. It's a little bit less, intense. So you just kind of leave the thought in their mind and they can then do whatever they want. But at least you've given an example and you've, let's say, created and what could they say, right? You're being too pushy about getting a review. No, you were just sharing a story, right? That you thought might be entertaining and fun, and that is once again how you can advocacy. Okay, Tendi, this is good. So here's the next thing, right? Just like social media, you have here what I would call you have a content strategy. Okay, so this is your content strategy. Okay, the guest is sharing their birthday celebration. What is your engagement strategy, Tendi?
The engagement strategy. I think the engagement strategy is we are doing the morning greeting, sir. Morning greeting to ask what they feel during their stay. You know.
Okay, that's not engagement for advocacy, Tendi. That's engagement for hospitality. We're talking about engagement for advocacy. What's your engagement strategy? You have the story now, right? They share it on their social media. How do you further
Yeah.
develop?
Oh, they already share in the social
Yeah.
media, yeah. Okay. The engagement. I think we can. Mm, yeah, I think we can ask that the guests like build the trust with the guests with to get back. Would you like to stay with us in the future maybe? Uh,
Okay. So we can
no?
ask for a we can invite, yeah, for a
Yeah.
future stay again. Okay, that's one type of engagement strategy. What's another type of engagement strategy, Vera? How would let's say this post has been shared now on Instagram, so you see it now, and you have to decide how you want to engage with it. What's another way that you could engage here?
Um, like Om Rafiq said, repost their story
Okay, we can repost. Where can we repost their story?
in our social media.
Okay, we can put it in our own media channels. Where else can we put it?
Is there any other place? Wait.
Right. So you need to think about it, right? So let's say our own media channels. Let's take a look at this now. Now let's think. Own media channels for what? For future guests? For future partners? For what is the best channel then?
Yeah, for future guests and partners.
Okay.
Or
What about future employees?
I thought we were talking about the guest and partnership funnel, but yeah.
Right. But let's say would do you think if we posted happy pictures of our guests checking in on our LinkedIn, would employees be interested in some of that stuff?
Yeah, it
Right.
could be.
Would let's say a guest recording a video about their wonderful stay at Bukit Vista be valuable information for an employee who's going to work as a host to understand?
Yeah, it gives more context to potential employees, right?
Right. Okay. So you see what I'm talking about here. The engagement strategy is not just about okay. So we need to have a content strategy. Hey, welcome, Rafik. All right. So Rafik, down here's something I want to describe. Advocacy has always been happening in Bukit Vista, but the point of creating a chapter is this, everyone. The point of creating a chapter is have we not optimized advocacy to its fullest? Have we thought about how to, let's say, garner more effectiveness from advocacy? And so the content strategy, Rafik, how do you get the story? How do you get the story of, let's say, in a partnership funnel, a partner who had an incredible experience with Buena Vista as a partner? That is the first step. Or, well, the first step is to actually find the partner who has the story. But the second step is, all right, now that we have the story, can we get all the good details out of it, right? But the second part after that is actually wait. Let's keep it consistent. Sorry, everyone. I don't think I'm being consistent here. I need to actually let's call this stage two. Right. This is the content strategy, but this is getting the story, getting the story. Right. Also known as your content strategy. This is stage three. You're wondering why there's no stage one, it's because it doesn't come up yet. Okay, stage three is your distribution, right? Also known as your engagement strategy. Okay, so now that part is more complete. Okay, so Rafik said, I think before that if we get a good story on Instagram, we can repost it. We can repost it on our own media channels, and I think this is something we can think about. All right, we reposted it. Now people know, but where else can we post their story? Let's keep on going. Tendi, Rafik, go ahead.
The first one we can repost it on maybe on community Facebook, right?
Right. You could post it.
So
That's
yeah, that
part
is
of the
part of
partnership.
our service. For example, they satisfy with our service, just tell it this is Bukit Vista service and this
Mhm.
guest is very satisfied. That is both exactly from partner and also for the guest as well. Oh,
Mm,
this is Bukit Vista service. I should contact the hospitality service. And then about the partner,
mhm.
oh, this is Bukit Vista is very good hospitality service for partner, and you can contact them like directly.
Very
So
good.
as I know, why a little bit I'm sorry, up the contact Jing, because this is the new chapter, right? The
Mhm.
advocacy, because advocacy, as I know, is somebody is branding our is product or our hospitality service without we tell to them, right?
Yes, correct.
That
Very good.
is
Very good.
advocacy, as I know. For
Mhm.
example, we have a lot about advocacy at Bukit Vista.
Right.
Somebody is tell, oh, Bukit Vista is very good without I tell to them, we give a referral,
Mhm.
give everything because they know it our service.
That's right.
That is very difficult. That's why I want to talk with everyone here. How this is before is organic, sir, right?
Mhm.
It's organic. So so what is the next strategy? That is I want to know to get more partner like that.
Very
You
good.
understand what I mean?
Very good. Okay,
Yeah.
so one of the first steps, Rafik, that we need to do is we need to create the system and we need to create the common language that we're going to use in this chapter. So once we describe, like, let's say we're building a mall, okay, Rafik. So we're building a mall. We need to know how many stores are going to be in the mall. We need to know the entrance and the exits. Once we have that, we can start putting shops in the mall. We can start putting stands and wall rooms and food courts and everything in the mall. So right now we're kind of like just building the shape of the mall. One of the shapes looks like this. Rafik, tell me, how many stages have you felt are in the advocacy process? We've identified 3 stages right now, right? Stage 1 is you identify the advocate. Stage 2 is you get the advocate's story. Stage 3 is then you distribute the story. Have you seen any other important stages in the advocacy process? Rafik?
The product has been done because I don't know about the stage. The product will been done because like this, the partner is contact to me or even though the unknown partner contact
Ah,
me.
okay,
Oh, Rafiq, can I join to Bukit Vista? Why
right.
you want to join? Because this one tell you are very good.
Ah,
Okay, then
okay.
so we don't know it with stages. That's why I tell to you we need to create a system, right? How
That's
to
excellent.
yeah, that's why we create this chapter, right?
That is correct, Rafik. So what Rafik is, and I think Tendi mentioned this too earlier, Tendi. Tendi, we are going in this stage. We're going from, let's say, becoming hunters and gatherers to becoming farmers now. Okay. So before, if something happened, it was because we found it in the wild. Like somebody advocated for us because we found this seed and it grew into a tree and there's fruits there. So the difference between having a chapter that does it is now we're going to start farming advocacy. We're going to start planting seeds. We're going to start thinking about what is exactly that correct process to do it. So it doesn't become out of our control. Revik, when a partner advocates for you, do you feel like that's something that you had control, or do you feel like that was kind of like lucky in a way?
I think it's both, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Tell me more
Both.
about that.
But why I said like that? Because the first one, if you engagement and give a very good service to one person, right?
Okay.
Same like if you going to restaurant,
Right.
you are a very good waiter,
Right.
and somebody is coming to you, and you are the waiter, and you very engaged with them, blah blah blah. It's very good, and give a free drink, blah blah whatever. And then the next day, they coming with somebody else
Hmm.
and said, I need that waiter is
like that guy. Yeah. Okay.
right. What that is both. This is between the waiter strategy or lucky,
Okay. Very good.
right?
Very good point. Tendi, I think you were talking about that earlier too. So we this is where we need to have, I think, both strategies. We need to have a few different things here, right? So Rafik, let's go to the same question. Do you believe that there are people very satisfied with that waiter service, but forget or just don't advocate?
Sorry, what is the first one?
Let's say that waiter, that super great waiter, gives excellent service to 100 people. Okay.
Mhm.
So 3 people go and they tell their friends, but 97 people didn't. Do you think it's that they didn't experience good service, or maybe they just chose to forget, or they didn't try, or whatever happened?
That is make me that is we need strategy, right?
Yes, that's
So
for everyone.
that we need. What is the strategy to make the 97% is coming with their friend, right?
There you go. Okay,
We need to find that system because that is exactly what is the vision of the advocacy, sir. We
exactly.
not lose the 97 that one.
All right, very
Yeah,
good.
that's what that's I want to know because I'm really new on the strategic thinking, sir.
Okay,
That's
okay.
why I want to know it.
Well, that's why we're here, everyone. We're here to actually lay out the strategic plans so that we can build on these ideas. Tendi, would you agree that that could be ultimately the purpose of having this chapter? We give good service, but it's the question of how do we get the 97 people who didn't leave reviews to leave more reviews?
For guest partner or everyone?
It can be for
Or
everyone. So we're having a chapter because we're discussing essentially what are the principles we need to get in order to get that particular part right.
yes, I'm agree, sir.
Okay, so let's focus on that then. Rafik, let's say we don't focus on the 3 people who gave us referrals because they were kind and they knew what to do. I mean, that's good actually. We should probably not to say we don't focus on them, but let's not rely on that because that we didn't put any effort in, right? They decided to do that on their own. Let's think about like as a farmer, Rafik, right? If what is the difference between Rafik? What is the difference between a farmer and a person who forages food for a living?
I don't
Okay,
get that.
here's a better example. Let's say you're a chicken farmer. Okay,
Hmm?
what's the difference between a chicken farmer and a chicken hunter?
Chicken farmer is built from the baby, right?
Yeah. Okay. Uh huh.
And the chicken hunter, you just shoot them, right? Whatever,
Right. Right.
right?
So when we get a referral from a partner who just did it, let's say on their own, that's a little bit more like chicken hunting, right? If
Yeah.
there's a chicken out there, you catch it. Great. But you don't have any process for how you're going to get your next chicken, right? You have to go and hunt and get it again. So it's a little bit of luck. You have to be in the right place where the chicken is and, see that.
Mm.
But is there a way to do more chicken farming? That's the idea, right? So is there a way to, let's say, take the wild chicken and instead of killing the chicken and eating the chicken, maybe bring the chicken, have it reproduce and make more chickens, right? And then you can start becoming a chicken farmer. So think of it that way. So when you get advocacy, instead of going, okay, that's great, we got some advocacy, can you take that advocacy, bring it home with you, and use it to create more advocacy? Okay. So this is becoming then essentially the discussion of how we're going to do it. So just like how farming has different stages, you find the seed, you plant the seed, you nurture the seed, and then you grow the thing and then you harvest, right? Those are like, let's say the 5 stages of farming. What we've determined, Rafik, is that there's 3 stages for advocacy. One is you need to find who is your advocate. Second stage is you need to get that story from your advocate. And the third stage is you need to distribute that story. You need to figure out how to get that story out to as many people so that they can engage with that story. And then that becomes a story that more people hear about. Okay. Now, if you skip to just the end, it's like hunting the chicken. You only get to eat once, right? But if you bring the chicken home and you start thinking, how do I farm the chicken? Then you have more chickens every day. So we're moving from a chicken hunting to kind of a chicken farming culture. So let's do this. Rafik actually poses some really good questions, but we're not here today to fill them. Oh yes, somebody had a question.
Okay, thank you, sir. Yeah, I have what's called an interesting story about the advocacy as well. This is kind of like because you mentioned that how we produce our own advocacy, right? Our own new supply like that, for example. So currently we are get the referral from the outside, right? For example, like okay, this partner have a friend, mostly like that, for example.
Yep.
But this is the what's called interesting story. We have in Uluwatu, there is one for the brothers make a villa, right? And then they join with us, and then it's good. The revenue is good and everything, and then they telling the younger brother, for example, hey, yeah, our business is good, and then the brother is motivated as well, get the motivation. Oh, why I not build my property then, like so it's kind of like what you say, it's produce. It's not only the property that are already built, but we can also get advocacy to motivate or to make the confidence the people to build a property.
Excellent.
With yeah, like that, sir.
Okay,
I think that's
very good.
kind of like
So you're seeing the impact of advocacy, Tendi, right? That if you get advocacy, people carry it on and it keeps on going out. Here's the part I want to focus on today, Rafik, right? What we really want in advocacy is we need stories. Stories are like the seeds. They're like the eggs of the wild chicken. You need the stories because once you have the stories, then you have a way of sharing the story. I'll give you an example. Let's say, Tendi, where did that particular story that you just told me happen? That happened in Uluwatu, right?
yes, sir.
Okay, great. Tendi, do you believe that there are groups where if we share that story, you could actually get more owners to consider joining the Bukit Vista community?
Group.
Yes.
Rafik,
I cannot forget because
Yes.
like Uluwatu community and something, mostly there's a guest as well, right?
okay. But let's say,
Yes,
okay, Rafik, you have
yeah.
an idea. You said yes, Rafik. Where do you think you could share that story?
Like this, sir. So, because I know I am a Balinese, right? So, if
Tendi does too.
somebody is telling story about
Okay,
someone is very good
okay.
on social media, on everything, they will be great, sir.
Okay.
They will be great and will be affect you all the community.
Right, right.
That is the first one.
Okay.
What is the we need to improvement is how to get these people is give a story.
Yes. How do you get them to tell a
Yes.
story in front of an audience of people like
Yes,
them?
that
Thing that you wanna do.
also, from beginning I already tell to Bastian, everyone, right?
Yep.
So like Adika call, just tell your story. Maybe on your writing on the Facebook,
Right.
your writing everything is
Right.
I know I'm too shy. I'm too
Right.
shy. How to build that competency to the
Oh, I
partner,
see. That
right?
you should come to the persuasion negotiation chapter.
Yes, that's
To know how to do it.
that is supposed to.
The principle is the same. You don't want that story to be lost. Okay, it's just
Yeah.
like the chicken. If you, what's more important, getting the wild chicken or getting the wild chicken egg? If you get the egg, you can keep on hatching more chickens. If you just get the chicken, you only get it one time. So the story is like the egg. If you get the egg, then you have a way of continuing that particular, that thing. So let's say, for example, this, Tendi, you got that particular story. You told me the story. Who else might be interested in this story? Maybe another property owner. Does that property owner belong to any groups? Does that property owner read any magazines? Does that property owner join any other groups? That story needs to be packaged in a way and then sent into those distribution channels. And then that way, more people would hear your story. That is what creates massive amounts of advocacy. right? Not just the advocacy being known by 2 people, but the advocacy now is known by many people. Now, if you think about it, Rafik, Tendi, Vera, most of the platforms are advocacy engines. TripAdvisor is an advocacy engine. Airbnb is an advocacy engine. Booking.com, they're advocacy engines. What do? They take the experience of a past guest and they show it to a future guest. And that then actually creates that particular dynamic that we're looking for. Yes, to whoever raised their hand. I only have one screen now. Yeah.
Okay,
That-
so I think you're right about the like keep the story in place because based on employees' story, right?
Yep.
So actually advocacy is happening all around, and like people like say Bukit Vista is so great and such, but then there's one thing that I realized: if there's no trigger, then they won't apply here.
That's right. That's right. So you have to. So now we are discussing about strategy now. Where should we get the
Mhm.
trigger? Is it in the identification? Is it getting the story? Or is it distributing the story?
I think it's wait. I think it's distributing the story.
Right. If you have the story, let's say, you can think of it this way, Vera. Think of all the IGP, the intern graduation presentations. Those are advocacy. Those are advocacy stories. This is what you can do if you finish an internship here. But let's say, is the IGP actually working at full capacity for us right now? And the answer for that is probably no. How do we know that? Because there's not a ton of views on the IGPs. So the problem with the IGPs is not that we don't have the story, it's that we don't distribute the story. We don't find the right places to put the story so that a lot of people will see it, right? And perhaps this is because maybe the format is too long, Vera, right? People don't want to sit and watch an hour format. Maybe they want to highlight. Maybe they want something that's more snackable, right, for them to consume. So this is what I want everyone to realize here. Once we have the stages here, Tendi, we can debug an advocacy problem every time by looking at this, right? Let's say, for example, Rafik, do we have enough advocacy in Canggu? And Rafik might go, no, we could use more. So then I would ask Rafik, all right, is it that we don't have advocates in Canggu? Rafik tells me, no, we have advocates. We have people who are very passionate about Bukit Vista. And then I would ask, Rafik, is it because we don't have their story? And Rafik says, we do have their story, but maybe it hasn't been recorded. Maybe it hasn't been written down. Maybe their story isn't easy to distribute, right? Or maybe we haven't put together a meeting where this person can tell about their story. Okay, so then we need to work on getting the story. Okay, we have the advocate, we have the story. Did we distribute? Do we find an audience for that story that would want to listen to it? Do we share it so that these people are hearing it? So that is good framework, everyone. If we can establish that these are the 3 stages of advocacy, we can fix any advocacy problem by looking at these stages, right? And Rafik, this is where we focus on. We focus on, do we need better distribution? Did we figure out all the different channels where we could distribute? Perhaps that's the issue, right? Do we have a story? No, we don't have a story. There's nobody recorded this. This is just word of mouth right now, right? So we need to be able to get the story, put the story in some form, written, video, Instagram, whatever, where we can share it. Tendi, okay, does this start making sense now in terms of how we use this structure and framework?
Yes, sir. I think this is more clear. The fundamental itself, it will be clear.
Okay, great. Once we have the fundamentals, guess what? This is the guideline now, Tendi. You were asking for a guideline. This is the guideline now. So anytime you have advocacy, you should ask yourself, have you identified? This is the framework of the guideline, okay? We're going to go and through the work of this chapter, we're going to discover how do we identify, okay? How do we know that somebody could be a good advocate? What is the signals that they will be giving off that we know they're a good advocate? How do we get their story? That's Rafik's issue right now. How do we get them to feel comfortable sharing a story that they want to tell? And the third part is, how do we distribute these stories? What do we need to go? How do we organize events? How do we get this word out to more people that these people are feeling passionate? That's Vera's issue, right? Like, okay, people are passionate about Bukit Vista, but where do we share that information? So this is the first step of this chapter today is to create that structure so that every conversation we have can be linked to these 3 stages. Did we identify the advocate? Did we get the story? Did we distribute the story? Okay? All right. That's enough progress for today. I think this is good. And let's get together around next week. And this is the plan. I want you guys to share with me stories of success and stories where we didn't get what we want. And it needs to be very specific, everyone. You need to be able to tell the rest of the chapter, did you actually, let's say, Rafik, this person's too shy. They don't want to share their story. Okay, let's come up with a chapter solution for that. How do we make somebody less shy? Let's go to Vera, right? Like we have the story, but maybe like the distribution isn't as strong as it should be. Vera, we just created the HAR video last week. That was an advocacy thing for the HR team. Did that get as many applicants as we expected to do? Did we distribute it well? And that can be another discussion around that. And Tendi, this idea of identifying a partner, are there common characteristics that you have noticed about people who are likely to be an advocate, but maybe have not volunteered yet? And we can invite them to be an advocate. We can go, hey, look, did you want to say something good about like what you've been experiencing? Who would you like to say that to? So these then become the basis of further conversations here. All right, everyone. Hopefully that was a good beginning, I think, to how we're going to build this chapter. Once we get, I think, the ball rolling, then more ideas will come. Okay? But this is the structure today. All right, everyone, have a nice day. Rafik, I'm happy to see you again. I have not had a meeting sharing the same space as you for a long time. So this is great.
Yeah, when exactly you back?
Coming to
You
Bali.
still in Jakarta, right?